The nays are 67, one member voting present. The resolution is agreed to.
Hear that low nay count, 67. That's because about 100 Democratic lawmakers walked out just as the voting started. Among them, Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi. During this afternoon's heated debate, she called the contempt vote heinous.
Just when you think you have seen it all, just when you think they couldn't possibly go any further over the edge, they come up with something like this. It's stunning.
Majority Republicans approved both criminal and civil contempt citations against the Attorney General, Eric Holder, because he won't share documents concerning a now discredited program called Fast and Furious. That program was supposed to trace weapons smuggling, but ended up helping Mexican drug cartels acquire guns. Bring back in CNN senior legal analyst Jeffrey Toobin, our chief political analyst Gloria Borger, and our senior political analyst David Gergen. Jeffrey, from a legal standpoint, the House has now found him in contempt. They send a criminal citation to the Justice Department, which is run by the Attorney General of the United States, essentially saying, investigate this to see if not only if he is in contempt of us, but if he's done anything criminally wrong. Where does this go?
It probably, at best, it goes to court. Look, this is an embarrassment for Eric Holder, but that's all it is. Nothing is going to happen to him. This might get tied up in court, but if it even winds up in court, it'll take months to resolve itself, and as you have pointed out, it's 131 days till the election. So this is designed to embarrass him, which it does, but there will be no formal legal consequences.
Unprecedented, David Gergen. You've advised 4 U.S. presidents. A member of a cabinet has now been found in contempt of Congress. Normally, when there is this threat, sometimes they get up to the last second, but in 99 out of 100 cases, they find some way to negotiate a resolution. What does this signal to you?
It's more than an embarrassment for Eric Holder. It's an embarrassment for the political system in Washington yet once again. There is a reason this is the first time ever a sitting attorney general has been cited for contempt or voted on for contempt. And that is because in the past, reason has prevailed, and people have found when they've been in these difficult situations, there have been a lot of searches for documents in the past, and on a regular basis, people have found ways to work it out. And the fact that these two sides, there's a legitimate need on the part of the Congress to exercise scrutiny here. That's part of their oversight responsibility. At the same time, there are maybe documents involved that have, legitimate executive privilege, but you can work these things out. And I just think this is crazy.
Let's listen to a little bit more of what the Attorney General said, because normally people try to be careful, especially someone who's the highest-ranking law enforcement official. They try not to use much political language, but
others, however, have devoted their time and their attention to making reckless charges, unsupported by fact, and to advancing truly absurd conspiracy theories.
Not a happy man.
He's mad, and I think he has a right to be, because the Republicans going into this knew that it wasn't going to go anywhere, as Jeff was just saying. There's one legal precedent on this. It's from 1984, written by a Republican in the Reagan administration, none other than Ted Olson. And that precedent says that the U.S. attorney is not required to refer a congressional contempt citation to a grand jury or otherwise pursue legal action. So going in, Republicans knew this isn't going anywhere. So it is a sideshow.
And so the administration says, we've given you thousands of pages of documents. We don't want to give you thousands more. They're protected or they're irrelevant. That's the administration's argument. The Republicans say, in one of the first documents you gave us, you lied. And the Justice Department did pull back that letter. So you can understand the mistrust on the one hand, and then you also understand, President Bush invoked executive privilege in similar confrontations with the Congress as well. So when do the reasonable adults go into a room and figure this out?
Well, that's what has usually happened historically, but I think this is a wonderful test case of the way politics has degenerated in Washington. And when you have, the House of Representatives in particular is ground zero for the distrust and distaste that these parties have for each other. And you see, and you get things like this.
And coming on the day of health care reform, which is such a monumental decision for people in the country, looking at the games that are being played on the House floor, doesn't look good.
David Gergen, Jeffrey Toobin, Gloria Borger, appreciate your help tonight. And here's tonight's truth. There's now just one way to stop Obamacare. We'll remind you what it is in just a few moments. But next, firefighters in Colorado get at least